hear the voices of residents out west as the government moves to curtail crime in St. James. Also on the show, a recap of the Ministry of Transport and Mining's top achievements in 2017. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is Jamaica Magazine. Stay with us, we have the information you can use to improve your life.
We are men with a message, and the youth them need to hear this.
We know everything about thug life.
Been there, done that.
Prison and a nice place, stay in school.
Serious thing we tell you.
And a joke thing this.
They can't tell me about hungry.
That's no excuse. Leave the badness alone.
Nobody narrate you.
Them just afraid of you. Live positive, remember.
A gang is a dead end.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, January 23. Finance Minister Audley Shaw says government intends to conclude the 2017-2019 public sector salary negotiations within the next few weeks. He says the administration is prepared to be flexible in accommodating the concerns of the trade unions about government's 6% offer.
We are looking at a raft of creative non-allowance and non-wage issues that we are putting into the mix. One of them will include the whole pension arrangements, because we want everybody needs to come on board with pension contributions. It's an important part of the social security system.
The finance minister was speaking at a recent investment forum. He insisted that the 2-year negotiating period was too short and said a negotiating period of 3 to 4 years was needed to put together an acceptable program. Minister Shaw said this would be placed on the table for discussion. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says industry players are satisfied that visitors are still coming to St. James despite the declaration of a state of public emergency in the parish. Jamaica is in the second month of the winter tourist season, which is one of the peak periods of the sector for visitor arrivals. Mr. Bartlett says preliminary results are not showing any negative fallout in arrivals.
The truth is that all the attractions are open and have visitors at the moment. The beaches are also there with visitors, and visitors are in their hotels operating.
The tourism minister was scheduled to meet today with travel agents and destination bookers for an update on the status of future bookings. In the meantime, he's appealing to the media to be careful with the narrative that's being disseminated about the security operation.
This is a different type of operation. This is all about cauterizing and enabling normalcy to be restored. And we think that the effect of that is going to be to make the destination safer, to make the experience more seamless. And that's what I'm about. We are about making Jamaica safer, more secure, and seamless.
The minister was speaking with JIS News last night at the launch of Reggae Month activities for February. The Justice Ministry is providing legal representation for persons in St. James who are detained under the state of public emergency. The provision is being made through the Legal Aid Council and the Cornwall Bar Association. In a release, the ministry says 19 councils, including 6 senior lawyers, will provide representation for detainees. The ministry is asking persons who have been detained to contact the Montego Bay Legal Aid Clinic at 42B Union Street or 952-2183. Persons may also call the Cornwall Bar Association at 940-1960. In other justice news, the Portfolio Minister Delroy Chuck says this year special focus will be placed on serious crimes involving murders, drugs, illegal possession of firearms, extortion, and lottery scamming. He says the emphasis will be to bring perpetrators before the courts in a reasonable time.
So when we find and charge those criminals, within weeks or months they must be tried and put away if necessary. And the resources will be provided immediately in the budget.
He says putting focus on the selections of such cases is a firm indication to criminals of the strength of the judicial system. Further strengthening will come with Friday's launch of a sentencing guideline.
Sentencing can be a pat on the hand. The sentencing must send to the criminals the emphatic repulsion that Jamaicans feel when crimes are committed, especially crimes that are overtaking areas of Jamaica.
In addition, the Justice Minister says he will be approaching Cabinet for more resources to further strengthen the justice sector crime-fighting measures. Minister Chuck was addressing the recent installation ceremony of Justices of the Peace in Montego Bay. And finally, the Justice Minister is calling on law-abiding citizens to not retreat at the actions of criminal elements, but instead become part of the solution.
If the decent, law-abiding citizens of this country really pull together, we can expose the criminals. It has been done and it can be done.
Minister Chuck insists that there are too many partners in crime facilitating illegal activities under the disguise of legitimate businesses. He warns that unless this practice is stopped, crime will continue to affect the nation. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Every duty vehicle on the road or the bridge. Listen the message. Don't overload. Quarry operator, haulage contractor, a trailer driver. Don't overload. Truck overload destroys our roads. And when they say, check your speed, check your state, make sure you're not overweight. Take the time to make it safe, even if you're little late. Some of the road they leany, sinky, twisty. Truck overload destroys our roads. So drive a heavy duty vehicle on the road or the bridge. Listen the message.
A message from the Island Traffic Authority and the National Road Maintenance Fund.
Improving public transport services for adults and students was a major goal for the Transport and Mining Ministry in 2017, and they acted on it. See now what other goals were met by the ministry last year.
In 2017, the Ministry of Transport and Mining continued work to maximize Jamaica's economic and social development potential. Work done by the ministry during 2017 included the launch of a new vehicle management system at the Island Traffic Authority in January. It will eliminate manual paper-based processes and duplication of records, while increasing cost savings at examination depots and supporting more compliant vehicles being on the roads. In February, the Transport Authority opened an office in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland to provide greater access to customers in western parishes. The authority also offered 5,719 road licenses for persons wishing to operate hackney carriages, rural stage carriages, route taxis and contract carriages on 20 newly created routes. Another 3,683 spaces were reopened between August and September for route taxis and 229 rural stage carriages island-wide. 2017 also saw the Transport Ministry's Road Safety Unit and the JCF stepping up road safety operations. Energy and transportation gains converged at the National Bus Company in 2017 when a proposal was finalized for the use of liquefied natural gas LNG by the JUTC. Then in December, Cabinet approved a pilot project to retrofit 5 Jamaica Urban Transit Company buses to start using LNG in the first quarter of 2018. Earlier in 2017, the JUTC experienced significant turnaround in its operational capacity. The daily run-out of buses moved to between 400 and 445 peak for the first 3 quarters of the calendar year, compared to 300 the previous year. In addition, the Transport Ministry streamlined and rolled out the first phase of the Rural Urban Transport Plan between Old Harbour in St. Catherine and a number of routes in Clarendon. The ministry continued to modernize the country's air service system in 2017 as Sangster International Airport's new air traffic control tower reached over 90% completion. Work also progressed towards privatizing the Norman Manley International Airport, as 8 investors were pre-qualified and a final draft concession agreement was prepared for the Cabinet. Meanwhile, measures were taken to quickly restore normal operations after a lightning strike caused major damage to the NMIA's radar communication system. In December, Minister Mike Henry officially handed over the lease agreement for Tinson Pen to Kingston Wharves Limited. At the same time, the Kingston Wharves Limited Global Logistics Center was commissioned into service.
Today we are seeing the implementation of the cabinet decision to decommission the Aeronautical Training School to support logistic development in the port of Kingston.
And in 2017, the International Civil Aviation Organization recognized Jamaica as one of 12 leading member countries that are in compliance with its standards and recommended practices. The Caribbean Maritime University, CMU, became a reality on September 21, 2017, as the institution officially received its new charter status, with the expansion of its training curriculum at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels. This followed the passage of relevant legislation in Parliament earlier in the year. The university also signed an MOU with the Universal Service Fund for $310 million to establish a National Marine Port Operations Simulator Training Center, a multi-purpose lab, and a Geographic Information Systems Center. In November, Jamaica was successfully re-elected to the International Maritime Organization IMO Council Category C, which affords it enhanced influence in maritime decision-making for the period 2018 to 2019. Meanwhile, the Maritime Authority of Jamaica and Development Bank of Jamaica commenced work to establish a Jamaica Ship Registry to counter challenges in the sector. Also in 2017, a new minerals policy was crafted for approval. In June, Alpart Bauxite Plant was officially reopened under the new ownership of Kingston Iron and Steel Company, GISCO.
A bold decision was taken to give a 5-year bauxite levy waiver to facilitate the plant's reopening, with assurances from GISCO that they will, within 3 years of reopening Alpart, build a new 2 million tons per annum aluminium plant to complement the existing 1.65 million tons per annum facility.
Later in the year, government entered into an agreement with GISCO for the company to invest $3 billion towards establishing an industrial park that will generate 2,000 direct jobs and a further 20,000 indirect employment opportunities. Throughout 2017, the Mining Ministry also restored more than 260 hectares of mined-out land to support farmers with areas for food production and planting for the nutraceutical industry. Just some of the highlights of the Ministry of Transport and Mining's strong performance for 2017, building prosperity through partnership.
So time is money.
Easy, driver. Why nobody must man and taxi driver drive so bad?
Why him have to drive so hard? Me not gonna make you kill off me and me picnic them.
One stop driver. Make her come off this bus. Me say stop.
Me coming with you. The rest of not take chance in the life. Lord of mercy. That could have been us.
And look how we want the money.
Passengers, your safety is in your hands. Say one-stop driver and get off if the driver is speeding, overtaking recklessly, and not obeying the rules of the road. Don't give away your life. It is too precious.
After years of being dormant, Jamaica is once again exporting bauxite. A community has been revitalized and the country is reaping added income. We revisit how it all started with a partnership between Kingston Iron and Steel and the government. Take a look.
It is revival time. It is a revival of the mining industry.
On June 21, 2017, Alpart Alumina Bauxite Plant in Nain, St. Elizabeth reopened and resumed alumina production 6 months ahead of schedule. The plant was brought back to life by its new owners, Kingston Iron and Steel Company, GISCO, and this has brought enormous opportunities for Jamaica. Already local communities in and around Nain, which saw a downturn in business and livelihood since the plant's closure in 2009, are now witnessing new life and increasing economic buzz. Production at the plant was halted in the aftermath of the global recession and a drop in metal prices.
To see the plant reopened today, and to hear the engines, the broilers, the steam room, to hear the hum of the plant is like music to our ears.
The positive impact of Gisco reopening is being felt in the economies of Elizabeth and Manchester. The hotels and guest houses are full and reporting increased occupancy rates. The shops, the wholesalers, the bars, the farm stores, the supermarkets, and the various other establishments are reporting increased business.
The opening of the plant is good for us because generally people can't get employed, because when the plant did close, it was very, very hard. You can hardly finance yourself.
Everybody is feeling good to know that the plant is reopened now. As you can see, a lot of things is going on now. Kenton people are feeling good.
Today now that we mark a new day, yes, and it's a job creation. I know it takes a lot of youth off the street so that they can reduce down crime and so forth.
The community council, the PRO at Alpart, as in conjunction with the police, we will continue to go into the communities to sensitize the people in order to ensure that they make good of whatever economic gains they are achieving at this time.
Alpart, which was previously owned and operated by Russian company UC Rusal, provided 1,000 jobs, which is set to increase significantly under the new ownership. Looking back on the journey to this milestone reflects some memorable moments. July 19, 2016, when the sale to Gisco was finalized, and the official handing over to the Chinese company on November 24, 2016. Kingston Iron and Steel Company Limited initially invested in excess of $360 million in its Jamaican operation, $299 million for the acquisition, and more than $60 million on the rehabilitation work to facilitate its reopening. The Jamaican government provided a 5-year bauxite levy waiver under the condition that within 3 years of the reopening, Gisco will build a new 2 million ton per annum alumina plant. The new plant will complement the existing 1.65 million tons per annum facility.
What we are witnessing today is a prelude to a scale of investment never before seen in this industry, and an emphasis on joint venture development as we move Jamaican companies parallel to China's growth.
Gisco has proposed to invest in excess of $2 billion to create a special economic zone with its aluminium refineries, Alpart 1 and 2, and the expansion and transformation of Port Kaiser. An energy-efficient power plant, an 80-ton per annum aluminum foil fabrication plant, and a tool and machinery manufacturing plant are also to be built. Further related investments in value-added industries will include limestone and cement processing. Gisco will also be ensuring that mined-out lands are returned to the people for them to utilize those properties for agricultural production and other purposes.
It is the intention of the government to ensure that all these investments that require high technology and high human resource capabilities, that they can be found right here in Jamaica. Specialist welders, the people who deal with specialized equipment maintenance, the engineers, we have the capacity and the capability to train them right here in Jamaica.
With the new streams of business, it is also expected that foreign exchange earnings from the mining sector will increase significantly over the $540 million earned in 2016. Government is also establishing appropriate policy and legislation to underpin the new and energized mining industry to better manage the country's mineral resources in line with Jamaica's long-term development plan.
The mineral sector revised, we must protect our mineral resources. We must grow and diversify the sector and live harmoniously with the environment.
No one is above the law. We encourage all Jamaicans to join the fight against corruption, organized criminality, these nefarious activities that stymies our country's progress. I want to encourage all Jamaicans to call. We have a secure line, 1-800-CORRUPT. Call anytime, and we will treat the information received with the highest standard of confidentiality. We need your help. We want to elicit your support.
Call 1-800-CORRUPT. That's 1-800-267-7878. Be the change. Report corruption today.
Last week, Thursday, the government declared a state of public emergency for St. James. Since then, a number of wanted persons have been captured and illegal firearms recovered. We took to the streets of Montego Bay to hear residents' view on this crime-fighting strategy. Watch this.
I feel safer. I can walk out and know, say, oh, I have my pocketbook. I'm not going to get jacked for what's little bit I have in my pocketbook.
No, it has not affected me. My son was a little bit concerned on his way home from school yesterday, but other than that, everything, I think it's a good thing.
Anything to try and stop the crime, we can't stop it, but at least we're trying. I feel more safer.
I think it's a good move by the Prime Minister because the crime and violence has escalated a lot, and I think doing this, it will decrease the amount of violence that is going on, and then people feel safer, whether it be coming in town or going home. And I think it's a good move.
It allows me to be more safer, feel more comfortable, but what I think they need to do is to, especially in the public area, like for instance the bus park, I need to see more presence of the police there.
We feel safer, more safer in the community, and I know that my whole community feels safer for what's going on right now, as we could say. And the youths of today that's in my community, I ask them to just work with the army and the police.
The well-being of Jamaicans and visitors is of paramount importance to us as a government and us as a people. Therefore, our aim is to make it safe and enjoyable as you travel.
Road safety must become a daily part of our lives. We must be responsible for our safety on the roads. Let's walk, ride, and drive with care, as the life we save may be our own.
The JJRA feels confident that our program this year will impact drivers, motorcyclists, pedestrians, and students, making them more aware of the importance of proper road safety practices.
We have to start at a tender age to regroup and educate the nation. We also undertake projects such as repainting of pedestrian crossing, facilitating blood drives, and conducting driving seminars. This year we'll be adding to our project a riding seminar, as motorcyclists need to be more aware of the safe practices.
Government takes seriously our responsibility to create safer roads for all our people, particularly our children and other vulnerable road users. That is why we have vigorously pursued the passage of the amended Road Traffic Act, which covers areas such as the establishment of the Island Traffic Authority and its functions, the road code, classification of vehicles, revocation of certificate of fitness, application grant and refusal of learner's permit or driver's license, and of course, offences relating to the licensing of a driver, all of which we believe are critical areas that must be targeted to reduce road fatalities.
There is a black box in every vehicle. When you hear a plane crash, you hear we're looking for the black box. I only learned through this that every car that has an airbag has a black box. The black box can tell us what you were doing before and what you were doing at the point of impact. And I put in place an issue for the holiday program workers with the Denby High School, that we're going to begin to train the children at the school at the 5th level, form level, in how to analyze a black box in a car.
Research conducted revealed that in 2014, it cost $8 billion Jamaican dollars to treat road crash victims at the various hospitals across the island, and indirectly affected productivity to the tune of $3 billion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if we are truly to become a prosperous nation, every individual must play his or her part in curtailing the number of crashes and the deaths and injuries that result from them. All of us must continue to do everything in our power to ensure that we keep our figures under 300. And know that is the benchmark. But we need to see if we can even lower that benchmark this year to somewhere between 250 to 275. So I therefore urge motorists to desist from speeding, wear seat belts, practice defensive driving, avoid using cell phones while driving. So again, I encourage pedestrians to use the road with caution. Use pedestrian crossings or safe places, walk facing the oncoming traffic, and again, always wear bright colors and light color clothing when in the dark. Take road safety practices seriously and make a dent in the high fatality rate associated with motor vehicle crashes which plague our nation.
This is where the pages close for today. You may watch our features anytime at your own leisure. Just click on over to our YouTube channel. Our social media sites also have loads of information which you may find useful. There's also our website, which contains the latest information on each ministry and topical stories. Until then, come back tomorrow on this same station when we explore other policies and programs being implemented by the government. I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.